For nearly a decade, The Elder Scrolls 6 has existed as a promise. Just a slow little zoom, a little card that shook the industry back in 2018 and then sort of vanished into silence. No gameplay, no screenshots, no release window, just patience, speculation, and the long shadow of Skyrim. Now, fast forward 8 years after all that time, something important's finally happened. Bethesda has confirmed that the landscape shown in that original teaser trailer wasn't even random. It was a placeholder. It wasn't just vibes only, it was the setting. And that kinda changed everything. The teaser was not only the truth all along. Former Bethesda lead designers and Elder Scrolls lore master recently confirmed what fans have argued about for years. The setting shown in the Elder Scrolls 6 teaser trailer is a location the team has already agreed on internally. Not blocked in with, scripts and quest lines, but decided in spirit, tone, and geography. The early consensus, reached far as back as the Fallout 4 era, strong enough to build the teaser around. The team didn't know the story, they didn't know the mechanics, but they knew where this next chapter belonged. In hindsight, that slow little camera sweep across Rocky Mountains wasn't a guess, it was Bethesda planting a flag. While the studio still hasn't officially named the region, all signs kinda continue to point towards Hammerfall. A land of deserts, coastal cities, ancient ruins, political tension, and cultural depth unlike anything the series has ever tackled before. And whether confirmed or not, the key revelation is this: The Elder Scrolls 6 has always known what it wants to be about. Anyway, the real question, why the wait is so damn long? If the silence feels unbearable, Bethesda agrees, of course. Todd Howard himself has acknowledged that the wait has been too long. When The Elder Scrolls 6 was announced, Skyrim was younger than Elder Scrolls 6 is now in announcement years. That's a wild statistic and one Bethesda is painfully aware of. But the delay isn't accidental by any means. Bethesda didn't want a Skyrim plus one. They wanted reset. That's why Starfield existed. It wasn't a distraction, it was a creative clearing of the runway. Sort of a chance to rebuild systems, pipelines, and ambitions before returning to Tamriel. Now the studio confirms that The Elder Scrolls 6 is firmly in production. Early builds exist, playtesting is underway, the majority of Bethesda's development forces now focus on this project. And this isn't vaporware anymore, it's some sort of slow-cooked design. Most of you know Bethesda's philosophy is pretty simple. Release it too early and it collapses under speculations. Take the time and it has a chance to stand beside, not beneath the Skyrim. See, one of the quiet hopes surrounding The Elder Scrolls 6 is a return to deeper role-playing systems, ideas that older entries explored but Skyrim simplified. And that doesn't mean going backwards, it actually means going wider. Obviously, fans want worlds that don't exist purely for convenience, like worlds where camping isn't always safe, where merchants can be negotiated with, where preparation matters, where the environment isn't just scenic, it's threatening. Bethesda hasn't confirmed mechanics yet, but internally, developers have spoken about using modern technology to create systems, driven worlds rather than scripted ones. Worlds that react, worlds that surprise, worlds that don't politely wait for the player. According to studio leadership, The Elder Scrolls 6 represents a massive leap in possibility, not just graphically, but structurally. Advances in world simulation, AI behavior, lighting, and scale that allow Bethesda to think beyond static quest hubs and the old predictable encounters. In fact, Bethesda's studio director described the game as an endless set of possibilities, emphasizing on how far the tools have just evolved since Skyrim. And obviously this isn't just about prettier mountains and whatnot, it's about deeper systems, smarter interactions, and worlds that feel lived in rather than staged. There's no escaping it. Skyrim is a top 10 game of all time. It reshaped open world RPGs and became a cultural artifact. That success is almost both The Elder Scrolls 6's greatest asset and its biggest threat. In fact, former developers have openly admitted the pressure is intense. Fans don't just want a good game, they want another Skyrim moment. And Bethesda knows that's almost impossible to manufacture on demand. So instead of chasing nostalgia per se, the studio appears focused on something smarter, creating a game that feels distinct, not bigger for the sake of size, not louder for the sake of spectacle, but confident enough to stand on its own identity. And that is why the setting really matters so much. Choosing the right region shapes everything: the tone, culture, politics, enemy design, magic, architecture, and also obviously the storytelling. This isn't a sequel that happens after Skyrim, it's a statement about what the Elder Scrolls is now. Considering all those, Bethesda has made one thing clear: they're not rushing. In fact, Todd Howard pointed to Grand Theft Auto 6's delays as a smart move, proof that audiences would rather wait for excellence than receive disappointment early. One of the veterans from Bethesda, one of the minds behind Skyrim, they recently argued that the Elder Scrolls 6 cannot succeed by relying solely on scale or spectacle. They believe that the studio must return to the roots of what made the franchise originally something magical. How to make it feel alive, unpredictable, shaped by the player's decisions and all, hinting that it might be a good idea to take some cues from Baldur's Gate 3, considering how time made the game so successful, giving players each decision's little weight, dialogue choices a lot of tension, and each quest something of an unpredictable outcome. For the Elder Scrolls 6, this means moving beyond static open world design. It's no longer enough for Tamriel to be visually impressive or sprawling. The world must react, adapt, and even challenge the player dynamically. Towns, for example, factions, and NPCs all should remember your actions, alter the behaviors, and create emergent stories that feel personal at some point. Combat, exploration, and diplomacy should all also carry stakes and choices, whether moral, political, or strategic, must leave visible marks on the world. The Elder Scrolls 6 won't just be the next installment, it could redefine what players expect from a modern open-world RPG. We'll see. I personally think beyond player choices, the Elder Scrolls 6 must also evolve its systems. The survival mechanics, environmental hazards, realistic economics could return, weapon durability, dynamic weather, new AI behaviors that could force players to plan, adapt, and improvise rather than just simply power through the challenges. Magic and crafting, long simplified in recent entries, might regain depth, allowing spell combinations and alchemy to produce new outcomes. There's right now even talk of a surprise release strategy. No long marketing cycle, no years of trailers, just one day it appears. It sounds impossible, but Bethesda has already tested this specific idea pretty successfully with Oblivion Remastered. All things said, at this point, the Elder Scrolls 6 isn't defined by what we've seen, but by what Bethesda refuses to compromise on. The teaser from 2018 wasn't a tease anymore, it was a promise, and now slowly, deliberately, Bethesda is building towards fulfilling it. And Tamriel's call again. Not loudly, not urgently, but with the quiet confidence of a world that knows it's worth the wait.